bom kar začel, ha? Good afternoon to our guests and to you, the audience. Today we are to discuss New Atheism. The title of today's event is Christianity, a Dead End on New Atheism. My name is Damjan Mandarc. I am coming from the Faculty of Arts, this faculty from Department of Sociology. And this event is hosted by three organizations. The Department of Sociology of the Faculty of Arts, Association Zvesh, and the other hemisphere, Society for Integrative Thought. Today's guests are Mr. Stefan Gustavsson from Sweden and Mr. Attila Szabo from Slovenia. Let me present them. Mr. Stefan Gustavsson is a Lutheran theologian. He is the director of Credo Akademin. I hope the pronunciation is okay. All right. The Christian Research Center from Stockholm and the General Secretary of the Swedish Evangelic Alliance. Before holding this position, he was a member of the Synod, leadership body of the Swedish Church. The focus of his work includes cultural analysis, questions of pluralism and postmodernism, apologetics, and evangelism. Mr. Attila Szabo is professor of English and German, a social critic, publicist in different Slovene newspapers, a member of the other hemisphere, translator, and an atheist. He studied at Ljubljana University, also in Hungary and Germany. He is the editor of an online dictionary of dialectical words of the Prekmurje region. Today he's going to present the atheist position and discuss different aspects of the so-called New Atheism and its most relevant authors. The other hemisphere, Society for Integrative Thought, is a place of meeting of experts and the general public interested in the new developments of problems of modern science. It aims to explore the nature and limits of specific scientific disciplines and the possibility for surpassing those limits by means of interdisciplinary cooperation, as well as by seeking and establishing transdisciplinary scientific paradigms. Zvesh, the other organization, is Association of Students, Professors, and others interested in the studying of and discussing of the Bible. Their goal is to promote and encourage the culture of creative, critical, and personal reading and studying of the Bible, and they are achieving this goal by a range of activities. Today's is one of them. The main focus of today's discussion is the so-called New Atheism and its criticism of Christianity and other mostly theistic religions. New Atheism is a relatively new phenomena, new movement, and its most prominent advocates are biologist Richard Dawkins, philosopher Daniel Dennett, neuroscientist Sam Harris, columnist Christopher Hitchens. It's easy to identify the difference of the previous waves of atheism, since the new criticism of atheists relies mostly on knowledge of natural sciences, and claims that the religious worldview is inconsistent with the naturalist perspective. While the conflicts between new atheists and their opponents in the West provoked strong debates, public attention, in Slovenia this is not the case. Actually, this discussion is rather new, but obviously it got some attention. One of the aims of this debate is to face Slovene public with the topic and encourage the listeners to join the debate. Today we will focus this discussion on three different aspects: the theoretical philosophical, historical empirical, social political perspective of the new atheist criticism of Christianity and religion in general. First, our guest from Sweden will have 15 minutes to present his positions. Then Mr. Szabo will have his 15 minutes. After that, they will both get 10 minutes for a reaction to one another, and additional 5 minutes for a reaction to a reaction. After the first part is over, I will pose a couple of questions as a moderator, and they will have 5 minutes to respond and additional 3 minutes to react to another. And after the second part is over, we will open the floor for the discussion and take some questions from the audience. I'm inviting Mr. Stefan Gustavsson to begin, please.
Thank you very much. I would like to say thank you to the organizers of this debate. It has been a pleasure for me to come to Slovenia. I've enjoyed already 2 days here. And I think it's such an important initiative that we have public discussions on the really big issues of life. I would also take this opportunity to thank the new atheists. I think they have put very important questions on the table, and they have managed to do what the church so obviously has failed to do, to start a really interesting public discussion about God. Now, the new atheists claim that Christianity is a dead-end street because Christianity is not true. If that is right, I do not want to be a Christian, for sure. So I'm not here to defend Christianity as much as I'm here to argue for truth. If there is no God, of course we should not believe in God. On the other hand, if there really is a God, nothing could be more important than to get to know this God. I would like in my introduction to have 4 main points. My first point is that the new atheists are misconstruing the real issues. And I have 2 examples. I could have given you a lot. The first is how the new atheists discuss the burden of proof. The new atheists claim that atheism is the default position, the natural starting position. It is the believers in God, they claim, who has to provide convincing arguments for their position. Until the one who believes in God has done that, there is no reason for an atheist to bother about the God question. Now, this is not a philosophical valid position. In reality, both sides, atheists as well as theists, has to provide arguments for their position. In this issue, there is no default position. And notice, it's not enough to just formulate critique of one alternative. You need to establish your own position with good arguments. So, what are the real arguments for atheism? And what are the arguments for Christianity and for the existence of God? And that falls on me to present them. The real issue that everybody has to answer is this: what is the best explanation for this world we are a part of? Can it explain itself? That would be the atheistic answer. Or has this world its explanation outside itself, in God? That would be the Christian answer. The second example of misconstruing the issue is how the new atheists talk about the role of evidence. Faith in God, says Richard Dawkins, is, quote, blind trust in the absence of evidence. But if you listen to the growing number of philosophers who believe there is a God, they don't have a blind faith. They point to evidences, saying that one reason to believe in God is because of all the new evidences. Take the former atheist philosopher Antony Flew as an example. Why has he changed his mind? Well, I quote him, "Since the beginning of my philosophical life, I have followed the policy of Plato's Socrates. We must follow the argument wherever it leads." And according to Flew, there are evidences today that point in the direction of the existence of God. So, instead of just stating that there is no evidence, as Richard Dawkins is doing, the atheist needs to interact with the relevant evidences. My second point, the use of invalid reasoning, and I will give you 2 examples. I could give you many from the new atheists. The new atheists are not philosophers, at least not the majority of them, and they show a surprisingly high level of ignorance in the philosophical field. Some of their hardest critics has actually been other atheists